Alright, so if you stay with me to the end of this video, I'm going to show you the common mistakes, 10 common mistakes that small businesses usually make and how you can avoid them under the new tax reform law. Now let's go. Mistake number 1. Assuming that filing is optional. A lot of small businesses usually assume that filing is optional. Filing is not optional. Now, you need to understand that the fact that you are exempted from paying tax as a small business does not mean that you should not do your filings. So even though you are exempted from paying the company income tax because of the threshold, or you are exempted from paying VAT because of some exemptions as provided under the new law, you should make sure that you do your filings as at when due. So you do your filings for VAT, you do your filings for capital income tax, you do your filings for every other tax that is expected of you. Thank you very much. Mistake number 2, poor record keeping. A lot of small businesses are very tardy when it comes to keeping records of transactions, records of financial expenses, and the rest of that. Now, when we say record keeping is actually not rocket science. All right, you can keep very simple record of your income and your expenses on a foolscap sheet, or get an exercise book and just do your documentation. It will help to structure the expenses of the business and also track the income of the business. But in a situation where you don't have good records, then it is going to affect you when it comes to your tax liability as an entity. Okay, so mistake number 3, ignoring VAT. A lot of small businesses are in the habit of ignoring VAT, okay, the value added tax. Now, I've come to realize that, number 1, some ignore VAT because they don't know what they should charge for VAT. They don't know when they should charge VAT on any item, and because of that, they ignore it. Now, this is one aspect that you as a small business need to pay attention to. Now, the new law, good enough, has given some exceptions to some items that are not VATable. So you need to go through the list to know if you enjoy VAT exemption under the new law, and if you don't enjoy VAT exemption, then you should not ignore charging VAT on every item, every goods, or every service that is rendered. All right, so mistake number 4, misunderstanding thresholds. Now, the new law has done a very good job by distinguishing between the small businesses and the big businesses. Now, the threshold that is provided are as follows. Number 1, your turnover, your annual turnover. Is it below 100 million or it is above 100 million? If it is from 100 million downwards, then you are seen as a small business. Or if your asset base is below 250 million, so from 250 million downwards, you are seen as a small business. Now, the moment your annual turnover exceeds 100 million or your asset base exceeds 250 million, you are no longer seen as a small company. So appropriate tax liability would apply. But so long as your annual turnover is from 100 million downwards, or your asset base is from 250 million downwards, then you enjoy tax exemption. All right, please, so let's take note of these mistakes and also try to avoid them. Now, mistake number 5. A lot of small businesses make the mistake of mixing personal expenses with business expenses. This is very wrong. You don't mix up your personal expenses with your business expenses. Your business expenses or your business records should be kept separate from your personal expenses or your personal records. And that also reminds me, some small businesses also mix their personal income with the business income. That is also not good enough. All right, so personal money, personal income, monies that are meant for you as an individual should not go into the business account, because if it goes into the business account, it may be seen as income for the business by the taxman, and the taxman will of course give you the appropriate tax to pay in that situation. So you need to avoid it. Now, mistake number 6, failing to plan for growth. One thing I have seen in the new tax reform law is that it has made provision for small businesses to grow. As a matter of fact, experts everywhere have come to an agreement that this tax reform law is the best for small businesses thus far in our country. All right, because with all the exemptions, with all the allowances and the deductions and the tax holidays that you can enjoy as a small business, it gives you that opportunity to grow, to scale your business, and then to be able to take advantage of better business opportunities ahead of you. But then you need to plan. You need to plan, otherwise you will not be able to take advantage of the growth that is possible for you. That was number 6, right? All right, so let's go to mistake number 7. Mistake number 7 is neglecting digital compliance. The new tax reform law has made it possible, has made provision rather, for businesses to comply digitally. So you can go to the physical office of the taxman, that's fine. Just log on to their system or use their app and you'll be able to comply with the tax requirement as it applies to you as an entity. Okay, mistake number 8. Now this is very, very important. It's not like it's more important than every other mistake, but it's important in the sense that a lot of small businesses fall under this mistake, in the sense that they are always penny wise and pound foolish. And what is that mistake? That's the mistake of avoiding professional advice. Avoiding professional advice. I will say to you that for you not to fall on the wrong side of the law, please make use of your tax practitioners, make use of your accountants, and make use of your lawyers or your solicitors. They are in a better position to advise you and then to guide you on how to comply with the tax requirements under the new tax reform law. Mistake number 9, late filing and late payment. Late filing and late payment. It is one thing for you to deduct taxes. It is another thing for you to pay and then to file your returns as at when due. Okay, so for VAT, for example, if you deduct VAT, you are expected to pay and to file the returns with the taxman latest the 15th day of the month after deduction. So if you deducted in January, for example, you are expected to file and make the payment to the taxman latest the 15th day of February, and on like that. If you go beyond that 15th day of the next month, then that is late filing, and of course late filing will draw some penalties. The same thing applies to capital income tax and every other taxes that you deducted or that you're supposed to pay, and then do your filings on time. And also for individuals, for your personal income tax, it is one thing for your office to deduct and it's another thing for your office to pay. So make sure that your office is not just deducting and keeping, but your office makes the deduction from your salary or from your income, as the case may be, and then payment is made to the appropriate tax office and the filings are done on your behalf. Because if the payment or the filing is not done as at when due, even though it was deducted, it will be seen by law that you have not paid. And of course, you know that ignorance of the law is not an excuse. All right, so let's look at the last mistake, which is mistake number 10, not understanding withholding tax. Not understanding withholding tax. Now, for the benefit of those who may not know the difference between VAT and withholding tax, VAT is the tax you pay on goods and services that you enjoy. Withholding tax is the tax you pay on goods and services that you bought. For example, I gave you a contract to build a house for me or do a construction work for me. In paying you your money, I am expected to deduct withholding tax and then remit to the government. All right. Now, in issuing your invoice to me as the engineer, you are expected to include VAT for the services you are rendering to me. So I pay you VAT, I deduct withholding tax, and I make sure I remit it to the appropriate quarters. So these are the basic 10 mistakes that small businesses usually make, and it is very important for you to avoid making those mistakes. Remember, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. See you some other time. Thank you very much.